¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, Michael Hassler, Echo Resto Dragon, It's the Morton kicking things off very early with a tier 1 sub for 3 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Whew. I'm here to laugh at cons and libs. Please don't mod them. Well, I don't really, I'm not as heavy-handed. I mean, unless you, like, come in here and really break TOS. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Since since Thursday's news. Whew. So a couple of things. As you probably have already seen by now, the former president of the United States officially indicted. It happened right when we made the story, or I should say right when we did the update before the weekend. That the grand jury was going to go on a hiatus, and that, they weren't going to return from that hiatus until April. Until the end of April. So basically we were, at that time we were under the impression that maybe we wouldn't even see a decision until probably later on in this month, or maybe even next month. Who knows? But at the end, but it just hit the day after evening, Thursday evening, with the breaking news that the president, former president, was officially indicted. Essentially, what happened was that these payments that were funneled, I believe, maybe by Michael Cohen, and like he admitted this kind of stuff. It's why he was in prison, or is why he was in hot water to begin with, and why he was found or pleaded guilty, I should say. And maybe I would say even had a key. He was a key component about this. I mean, to answer like some of the main like complaints, that like this is overly political or whatever. Honestly, how? Do you know how hard it is to like get a grand jury, get like a decision to convene a grand jury, and then you have to present the evidence to the grand jury, and then the grand jury has to, be satisfied with that evidence to then say, okay, we should indict him on whatever charges that you're trying to bring. Like, this isn't just one person making a unilateral decision. Okay? And it's not like there isn't like any type of legal defense on Trump's side. Like, what do you think is going on? That like this one person has like a fucking vendetta? No, that can't happen. That's not the way the system works. If a prosecutor has a vendetta, then they better make sure that they have the evidence to present to the grand jury that has to be even approved to begin with. Okay, so again, this just didn't come out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, well, they wouldn't have charged him if he didn't run. No shit. Of course. How did those payments come through? They were campaign funds. If he never ran, if he never ran, that would have never happened. And to the quick response to the whataboutism, oh, well, what about whatever, Joe Biden? I don't care. Listen, honestly, I don't care. If you bring evidence to a grand jury that Joe Biden has done X, Y, or Z, yeah, fuck him. Investigate Joe Biden too. Or indict Joe Biden too. I don't care. You can miss me with that bullshit. If you bring sufficient evidence to the table that warrants a grand jury to be convened, and then that grand jury decides to indict Joe Biden, yeah, dude, I don't care if he's a sitting president, former president, president in running. I don't give a shit. In fact, more politicians should be investigated. Like it shouldn't be a shocking like thing, you know, like hey, for the first time ever a president or politician, nah, if they did a crime, then so be it. But the DOJ is also, hey Alio, how's it going? Is charging Trump with cherry picking the secret classified documents. There will be a case by Jack Smith. Yeah, I mean, like if they have evidence and they go through the process of presenting this evidence and it is sufficient to indict, based on whatever they can present to the grand jury, and the grand jury finds that there is enough evidence, then yeah, fuck them. Don't care. Rudy admitted on national TV that Trump paid Cohen back. Yeah. But Hunter Biden is not in government. No, I'm not talking about Hunter Biden. I'm talking about anybody, quite frankly. And Biden is cooperating about his documents. If Biden's president allows to see the documents if they are returned. Yeah, again, I'm not saying anything about like Biden's like problem, like the little kerfuffle with the documents. If there is a crime there, it doesn't really matter who did it, right? And if Hunter Biden did a crime, then he should be investigated too. You know, like it's not this isn't like a hard like L to fall on. I mean, if you want to present evidence to me that there was like some crimes, some like legal crimes that could be prosecuted, then yeah, go for it. I don't give a shit. But until then, like, I mean, you know, if people trying to do like this whole like whataboutism isn't really doing it for me. You're talking about the right. Oh yeah, no, these people are on full meltdown right now. Anyways, so that's kind of like the TLDR. We've got a lot of articles to go through, just kind of like to put everything in chronological order, because like it is a big deal in the sense that like this is the first time a president ever, period, has ever been indicted, to my knowledge. So we're basically witnessing a history. We're basically witnessing history. And if that opens the door for more investigations into other politicians, then so be it. If like one of the like unintended ramifications is that it like opens the door for more investigations into like, you know, politicians doing some messed up stuff, then yeah, dude, go for it. Anyways, I guess we should just like kind of get that whole thing over with now. You'd think Ducker would be happy since we know he hates Trump passionately. Oh no, listen, he might hate Trump passionately. I don't know if privately, apparently that's what he believes. Privately, he says he hates him. But do you think that he's going to go on his show and denounce any of this? No. I bet if I look at what Tucker's comments are on this whole thing publicly, it's some kind of like conspiracy against Trump or whatever, you know. I've also noticed that like a lot of these like right-wing types are going on this weird anti-Semitic kind of trope. They're going on this weird like, Soros appointed. I've heard. Soros prosecutor, Soros appointed prosecutor, Soros backed prosecutor. I've seen headlines like that on Fox, which is like which is like mainstream, which is like a skip and a hop away from like fucking Happy Merchant posting on like mainstream media, which is incredibly disturbing that like you're seeing these headlines or you're hearing these politicians and pundits both online and like just regular like on air talk about like Soros backed. You heard the governor the governor of Florida make like the public comment in several instances in that same speech talking about like Soros prosecutor or Soros backed prosecutor, Soros funded prosecutor, I think was his exact words in several times. It wasn't an accident. And like the question that you need to ask yourself is like, okay, what to just kind of like it's obviously an anti-Semitic dog missile, but just kind of like to break it down. It's like, why else would you use the term or would you use the rhetoric Soros backed? What is the purpose of that? Who is that for? Who is that for? Why would you need to use the word Soros backed prosecutor? It can't be we think that this is like a Democratic prosecutor who has like a bone to pick. No. It's Soros backed or Soros funded prosecutor. Gotta wonder. You gotta wonder. Alice McGee, welcome. CBS 60 Minutes won't let the MTG ads. It's not even worth it's not even worth looking at, to be honest. Honestly, it's not even worth listening to the interview, DMCA or not, copyright or not, I should say. Yeah, they're just telling exactly because like the obvious conclusion is like, come on, dude, really? And I've seen that very prominently, not just like on fringe, like 4chan accounts. I'm talking about like headlines on Fox News. I'm talking about like politicians, like mainstream politicians, like Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, talking about like Soros-backed prosecutor. Like, come on, dude, fuck out of here with that shit. This is the same governor who, by the way, as far as I can remember, never denounced the Nazis parading in support of him. So you got to wonder who that rhetoric is for. Two Democratic state lawmakers in Tennessee stripped of their committee assignments by Republicans because they took part in a peaceful gun reform protest that demanded new laws to stop the slaughter of children in school. The GOP is considering even more severe punishment. I mean, like, yeah. Who else can be surprise Pikachu face when Republicans talk about or conservatives talk about free First Amendment? Who's going to surprise Pikachu face when they actually don't believe in it themselves? Interesting, huh? Apparently they don't even believe in the Second Amendment either. Dropped at the tip of the hat. So it's kind of one giant meme, right? I wouldn't even call it a dog whistle at this point. It's not. It's not really like a dog whistle. It's very overt. Like save like unironic like Happy Merchant posting. We're like a skip and a hop away from that. If you look at like mainstream like Fox News headlines, I mean. I mean, like, this is the kind of shit that you see, like, on Fox News. Hold on. Let me put it on display for you.
Smile Blue Ridge, we use state-of-the-art
Hey,
technology
whoa.
to help.
Okay. Here we go. I mean, like, This is on Fox News. Okay? And this isn't even like paraphrasing. This is a quote from him. There's even video of his speech. You can look at it. Cause like, what other reasoning is there to use that language? Because like you could even say like, oh, you know, this person is just ignoring crimes or whatever. This is a political thing, whatever. But no, they chose the rhetoric like Soros funded prosecutor is what he said, like verbatim. Funny that Democrats and progressives constantly argue that free speech is not without consequence, but then squeal when the consequences are levied on them. What are you talking about? You can play your game somewhere else, but that doesn't work here. Sir, ma'am. You can play that semantics game, but not here. Not here. Because it's actually conservatives who are advocating for free speech, right? So I'm putting the hypocrite, I'm levying the hypocrisy charge. Hey, Sharpie Diesel, the DA isn't some progressive hero. This is an example why the GOP is so frustrated. True. Yay, the funnies showed up. Yeah, I know. The clown. Listen, I know it's going to be a tough time. I know it's going to be a tough time that your daddy is currently indicted and probably in some really hot water. Because while this seems trivial, while this seems trivial, I can guarantee you, Trump's troubles, are not over. Looks like these members of the Tennessee legislature were admonished by their own party's colleagues. Interesting, by their own party's colleagues. No, they were admonished by the Republicans, right? I guess when you rush into the chamber to disrupt proceedings, there'll be consequences. More cases to come? Probably. Who knows? It's not an argument? I'm not sure what an argument is. I'm making fun of you. I'm not making an argument. Two separate things. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they were admonished. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they were admonished by their own party. How does that change the accusation of how does that change the accusation that I made? How does that change? How does that levy? How does that change the accusations that I've levied? That conservatives are often incredibly hypocritical and often believe the exact opposite. They pretend to they pretend to fight for, or they pretend to believe in. That's all. That's my core argument. Is just that conservatives often will drop their principles at the tip of the hat because they don't actually believe in things like free speech or freedom, liberty. They actually don't believe in any of that. Or no, they don't actually. They don't even actually believe in the Second Amendment. So like I don't know, dude. It's very simple. My argument is very simple. It doesn't even have to be this one example. I just took it as a chance to levy that accusation. That's it. You'll need a new example now? What, to levy my accusation of hypocrisy? How does that change the fact that, like, even if it's true, even if it's true that they were admonished by their own party, it doesn't change my argument. It doesn't change the fact that, it doesn't change the fact that I'm levying that hypocrisy accusation. That's it. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that quite often you'll find when conservatives talk about believing in free speech, they actually don't believe in it. The same thing goes for like almost anything they claim to believe in. The same thing goes with like being pro-life. There's nothing pro-life about any of the arguments being made. When it comes to like abortion, whatever. Conservatives don't argue in an absolutist way of free speech. You know this, right? Whew, man. You would think we can pretend that they do. No, I hear their arguments very loud and clear. But okay. But you know that they don't argue for unregulated and unlimited free speech. That's not always the argument. So then what is the problem here? So then what is the problem? If I understand this correctly, some Dems in Tennessee were disruptive for gun control after recent school shootings, and some other Dems and Republicans thought the disruption was not acceptable. Yeah, and like my argument was that Republicans getting big mad at protests is like a good meme. That's it. Any politician takes donations from dark money PACs or big oil are also globalist funded. I mean, I don't know if I like that framing, because it's like it can be pretty misconstrued. But if you're talking about like special interests and like, yeah, they're being funded by big business. In other words, they're being bought. Yeah, that's a freaking problem. Anywho. When you're talking about like headlines, when you're talking about headlines like this, this is like literally a skip and a hop away from like Happy Merchant posting on mainstream media. Daniel Kelly, the conservative nominee for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Yes, we're going to talk about that in a second. Traveled across the state today in a private jet reportedly owned by a family of anti-abortion advocates in case there was any doubt as to where he stands on the abortion ban. Yeah, 100%, no doubt about it. I don't I don't dispute that. We're going to talk about that because that's actually important. We've got that queued up. Anyways. So I guess we should just go through the timeline. Donald Trump was indicted by a grand jury on more than 30 counts relating to business fraud. Trump faces more than 30 counts related to business fraud in an indictment from a man. Like, again, like, why is this like anybody's, why is this surprising to anybody? Like, a dude who has literally made a career of conning and fraud, who has been successfully sued, not just like frivolously, successfully sued several times because he had fraudulent businesses like the Trump University, who had to pay out God knows how much money because they were defrauding their their students. I mean, this is like a classic MO. So this shouldn't even be like a surprise Pikachu face, to be quite frank. But anyways, here we are. Dude gets indicted for 30 counts on business fraud. According to two sources familiar with the case, the first time in American history that a current or former president has ever faced criminal charges. I moved out of the U.S. 7 years ago and didn't keep up on the abortion issue. Can you tell me what the ban entails? Is it late-term abortions? Yeah, so basically, it is no longer the case that you are entitled to bodily autonomy. So it's now up to the states, and the states quickly enacted very strong restrictions, some outright bans. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yes, it's the repealing of Roe v. Wade. Roe has already been repealed, which allows the states to completely ban it. Yep. The December 2022 Trump organization found guilty on all counts of criminal tax fraud. Yeah, again, like, yeah, this guy has like a history from beginning to end of like obvious fraud. Obvious fraud. And like, you shouldn't be surprised Pikachu face when like the chickens come home to roost. What happens if you go to another state? Generally, for the most part, you should be able to. Although there are some states that are trying to, like, punish people's exercise of bodily autonomy, and they're attempting to criminalize that. The Manhattan District Attorney has been investigating the former president in connection with his alleged role in a hush money payment scheme and cover-up involving the adult film star Stormy Daniels that dates back to the 2016 presidential election. The grand jury proceedings are secret, but a source familiar with the case told CNN that the witness gave about 30 minutes of testimony before it voted to indict him. Jesus. The decision is sure to send shockwaves across the country, pushing the American political system, which has never seen one of its ex-leaders confronted with criminal charges, let alone while running again for president, into uncharted waters. Yeah, I mean, again, if he did the deed, like, again, then, like, what, there shouldn't be any consequences? Nah. Fuck that guy. Hey, Cosmic Seeking, how's it going? Hope you're well. Yes, I am doing fine. Idaho, I think, is one. Probably. Some states want to make it a crime to go out of state to get an abortion. So much for states' rights. True. New classification of law in Idaho. Abortion trafficking. Not codified yet, but probably will be. Yep. I mean, that's what happens when you vote conservative. I'm just saying. That's what happens when you vote conservative. I believe this witch hunt will backfire massively on Joe Biden. The American people... Oh, yeah, dude. Totally. It's fucking Biden prosecuting him. True. The American people realize exactly what the radical left Democrats are doing here. Everyone can see it. So our movement, our party, United and Strong, will first defeat Alvin Bragg. Then we will defeat Joe Biden and we are going to throw everyone those last crooked Democrats out of office so we can make America great again. Oh, man. Anyways, good meme. So we know that. Officially indicted 30 plus accounts. I think it was like 30 plus counts. I think it was 34 was like the number that I kept seeing. Trump indictment pulls DeSantis leaning Republicans back to MAGA fold. I don't understand. Like, DeSantis is MAGA. I don't understand why they even attempted to make a difference, to try to like differentiate. It's the same garbage. Larry White, a self-described Republican conservative, was thinking of voting for DeSantis in his party's nominating contest, the primary, believing the governor had a better chance of winning back the White House. Man, these people live in like a complete alternate reality. More like make America groan again. True. Believing the Florida governor had a better chance of winning back the White House than President Trump. Then came the March 30th, the news on March 30th that Trump had been indicted. And then, so basically, instead of like having some kind of like epiphany, we do the exact conservative classic, which is double down. Now I'm absolutely voting for Trump. Not a cult, by the way. Not a cult. The indictment was the last straw for me because Trump has suffered so... Imagine thinking that like Trump is the victim here. Imagine thinking Trump is the victim here. Anyways. I would be more shocked if someone could find a politician that was not crooked. Yeah, it's probably easier to find one that isn't crooked. It's probably easier to find a politician that isn't crooked. It'll be done once we have 7 consecutive days without Trump in the media. Whew! Man. I honestly, it would be welcomed if I didn't have to cover cover this entire circus ever again. It would be a blessing if I didn't have to cover this entire circuit. Like, the only reason where anyone is even talking about this, let me rephrase that because I'm not going to speak for anybody. So let me rephrase that. The only reason I'm covering this is because it is a historical event that will go down in history. And yeah, as long as there's a person running for president, or a person that is president, yeah, they're going to be covered. From what I can tell, everyone who says, now I'm gonna, or you made me. Yep, true. This time a lot. I'm sort of hoping DeSantis throws so much sand in the gears of transferring Trump from... Nah, he can't really do that. It's, there's nothing he can do. Nice try, but no. Nope. Nope. There's nothing that DeSantis can do. Trump's already in New York. Yeah, there's literally nothing he can do. This isn't like a state issue. This isn't a state issue. Nah, fuck him. White's anger and return to supporting Trump over DeSantis reflected the sentiment of many Republican activists and voters that Reuters spoke to in Nevada. The Western state votes early in the presidential nominating process and giving its outside role in deciding which candidate gains a momentum in the 2024 election. Until the indictment, a majority of the 35 Republican Reuters interviewed had been willing to turn their backs on Trump and go with a different candidate. Like, again, then you really weren't. Like, you were just waiting for the excuse. Like, most Republican politicians want Trump to get arrested. They just don't want it to appear that they do. Maybe. The criminal charges in New York changed all that, upending the Republican primary contest and potentially giving Trump and his Make America Great movement a major boost in his quest to re-enter that way. What are you talking about? Trump before this indictment, Trump was like double digits ahead of DeSantis. Before the indictment, Trump was ahead of DeSantis by double digits. Have you heard of Rahul Gandhi's disqualification for parliament in India? Nope, don't know. There's some true believers, but most want the energy of his base without the baggage. Right, but the core base is still strongly with Trump. That's what I was saying from the beginning. That like Trump has the base. It's not going anywhere. I love all the accusation of election tampering. The effing state primaries haven't even started yet. Are they accusing each other? Is the Republican Party accusing each other of messing with the elections, with the primary elections? Because that is a chef's kiss meme. Is that true? Oh my god, that is true? No, I'm gonna look that up. That's a good meme. Florida's trying to change the law so DeSantis can run for president while being... So, what? So he can run for president while being governor? Okay. Cool. It's mostly thrown at prosecutors doing the investigations. What, for voter fraud? I don't know. Hopefully DeSantis can be charged for flying people up to Massachusetts. Yeah, that's still, to my understanding, that's still under investigation. Like, people, election tampering. Gotcha. Like, you do realize that, yeah, these things, like, for example, the Trump thing happened in 2016. And is only now coming, through the system because it takes a long time to build cases, especially against some, like, do you know how much, like, decision making and, like, 200D chess is necessary to be like, all right, look, we're going to actually do this. That takes time. So who knows if, years down the road, DeSantis gets investigated too, or something comes out of that investigation. Who knows? Yeah, it takes years. So, like, the people that are like, oh, this just came out of nowhere because he's running right now. No, bro. No. No. Every one of them decried the indictment as meritless, politically motivated prosecution of Trump. Like, again, if it was so that it was meritless, then why was all this process allowed to take place? Like, explain that one to me. How did a overzealous prosecutor, a Democrat prosecutor, able to convene a grand jury? So, in other words, he had to present the premise to even convene a grand jury, And then he had to make the case of its grand jury. Again, this isn't happening unilaterally. Trump has a legal defense. This isn't happening just unilaterally. Trump has a legal defense. If the prosecution does something wrong, or does something so like egregious that they can just like, throw everything out, like obviously they would have done that. And then to have that grand jury review all that evidence, and then to be like, yep, you can charge him with this crime. Go for it. Like, I mean, it's just wild that people like just don't, I guess, are deciding to not or conveniently forget how like this system works. Or, this is a cult. Because, Trump says it's a politically motivated persecution of your favorite president. So that's what the cult members will take. The charges against Trump are not yet clear, though legal analysts say he may be prosecuted for falsifying business records on charges hiding the true nature of the payments. Of the 20, they said they've been thinking on moving on Trump and backing DeSantis. Of those, 14 said the indictment was changing their thinking and leading them back to support Trump. Yeah, everything is a conspiracy to them. I was really for Ron DeSantis, and then I'm just Trump anyway. It's like, this is a cult, folks. I think people who are more neutral than before will now go into bat for him. No, I don't think so. This is the most frightening thing I've ever seen in the U.S. Trump is expected to be arraigned and fingerprinted and photographed in New York courthouse on Tuesday as he becomes the first president to face criminal charges. An attorney for Trump said he will plead not guilty. I mean, the indictment, roll the dice, man. Roll the dice. The indictment followed an investigation which heard evidence about $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels, allegedly authorized by Trump in waning days of the 2016 campaign. Daniels, whose real name was Stephanie Clifford, said she was paid to keep silent about the sexual encounter in 2006. Trump has denied that this encounter took place. Concealing payments such as this would potentially violate campaign finance laws. Like the fact that this isn't like a thing. This shouldn't be a thing. If you have like candidates having like the green light to just like funnel campaign laws, campaign funding, funneling campaign funds to do whatever they want with it, nah. I don't think that's a good precedent. I don't think that's a precedent we should be like allowing. Yes, plead not guilty and let this go to trial. Get everything out in the open. Yep. The reaction to this indictment by congressional Republicans and even his potential Republican rivals for the White House has demonstrated a firm grip that Trump still retains on the party, thanks to diehard support from his core group of voters. Yep, I mean, this is basically it in the nutshell right here. Party leaders have rallied behind Trump. Even DeSantis was yet to declare his candidacy, but is expected to do so. Called the indictment, quote, un-American. What is un-American? It went through the exact legal process. It went through the American legal process. What are you talking about? Whatever. Anyways, TLDR is just kind of like tightening the grip on the cult, because whenever the cult leader is threatened, usually cult members will double down. I think that he means that prosecuting rich people is un-American. I mean, apparently. Ha! If they reach a plea deal, that's an admission of guilt. I mean, pretty much. Thank you so much to the new YouTube subscriber. Thank you. We're up to 224 on YouTube. Thank you and welcome. Anyways, the point of pointing this one out is because it's just to illustrate, like, Trump hasn't lost the grip on the base. Trump has raised $7 million since the indictment in the last couple of days. The fleecing continues, folks. The fleecing continues at a total of $7 million. Like, it's just hilarious to me. Like, the dude's being indicted because he's being indicted on charges related to funneling campaign funds inappropriately. Using campaign funds inappropriately. And, like, the cult decides to reward him by giving him $7 billion in campaign funds. Rich people only care when you steal from other rich people. The rich have class solidarity, unlike the workers. True. Trump has not paid cities from the 2020 rallies. I mean, it's part of his MO, right? He doesn't pay employees for, like, you know, jobs done either. It's par for the course. Former President Trump's 2024 campaign raised $7 million in the days after his indictment, a top campaign aide said on Monday. Senior Trump aide Jason Miller announced the haul as the ex-president was en route to New York City ahead of his expected arrest and arraignment on tomorrow. Miller described the three-day sum as a record, but offered no more details. And here's the tweet. $7 million. Dirty Rat, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Sorry about that. Welcome. And the question is, how many hopeless, gullible idiots are there in America? Enough. 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 It's a cult, folks. It's a cult. Like, this guy's literally potentially facing charges related to fraud because of inappropriate use of campaign funds. And, like, they reward him with $7 million of campaign money. I mean... I mean, Trump said it. He could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for him. And the final update, update that we have regarding this case. Trump has arrived in New York for surrender and opposes TV court coverage. Well, I don't know if he can stop that. Pretty sure it's a public thing. And besides, if he's so... Wait. If he's so innocent, then wouldn't he want everything to be shown out in the public to show how innocent he is? Isn't that, like... Isn't that kind of weird? Why would you want things to be not televised if you're innocent, right? Like, wouldn't you want to tell the whole world? Wouldn't you want to make sure everybody was watching to see how innocent you are? I was going for the Jeopardy stick. Answer: Trump raised $7 million after the indictment. Ugh. Former President Trump flew into New York City in his private plane on Monday to face charges stemming from proven to hush money paid to a porn star, while his lawyers argued against letting cameras in the courtroom. While New York taking security precautions and the mayor telling potential rabble-rousers to behave, well, Jesus, Trump was due to surrender at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office on Tuesday and will likely be fingerprinted prior to appearing to a judge for an arraignment where he will plead not guilty. Supposedly. Trump is the first former president or current to ever be indicted and face criminal charges. Yes, we know that. His plane, whatever, don't care, clad in a blue suit, wearing a tie, red tie. Trump walked deliberately and alone down a flight of stairs on the airplane and climbed into an SUV for a drive in a motorcade to Trump Tower in Manhattan. No public comments, whatever. Beefing up his legal team, Trump hired Todd Blanche, a prominent white-collar criminal defense lawyer and former federal prosecutor, to join his defense. Two sources familiar with the matter said Blanche and other and other Trump lawyers on Monday urged the judge not to allow videography, photography, or radio coverage of the arraignment. In a letter to the court, they argued against allowing such coverage, saying it would exacerbate an already almost circus-like atmosphere around this case and detract from both dignity and decorum of the proceedings and courtroom. The judge, Juan Merchan, was expected to decide the matter on Monday. I don't know if he did or not. Honestly, it doesn't matter because, we're gonna, we're gonna find out anyways. We're gonna find out anyways, and the jury is gonna review the evidence and decide, from there. But it's just the psychology behind it, right? Why don't you want, why don't you want all this evidence out there, right? Why don't you want your side to be presented here? I mean, you did nothing wrong, right? You've got all this exculpatory evidence, I'm sure, right? No, do none of these lawyers pay attention to Trump doesn't pay his bills? Oh yeah, no. Imagine. They go through all of this. Trump loses, and then Trump loses, and then skips out on the bill. Oh man. I saw a story a while ago that lawyers are asking for money up front. His lawyers are asking for money up front. But I don't know if that's the same case here. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office said it would leave it to the discretion of the judge, but noted that Merchant allowed a limited number of still photos prior to last year's criminal trial in which Trump's real estate company was convicted of tax fraud. The Manhattan grand jury that indicted Trump heard evidence for months this year about again, this isn't some just out of nowhere left field thing that just came out of nowhere and we're gonna get this guy. No, man. No. I wonder if Rudy ever got paid. No, probably the only thing Rudy got paid in is airtime and I guess for a moment be Trump's comrade. And whiskey, yes, and whiskey. About $130,000 payment to the adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the waning days of the 2016 campaign. The analyst said she was paid to keep silent about a sexual encounter. Trump has denied any such in relationship with her. Cool, press X it out. Blanche previously represented Paul Manafort. When Manafort was hit with the New York State fraud charges after being sentenced to prison for federal crimes, the state charges were eventually dismissed, and Trump pardoned Manafort before leaving office. Wait. Oh, okay. Blanche also previously represented Igor Fruman, who was an associate of former Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani. Jeez, the entire circus comes to a full circle. A motorcade of several vehicles took Trump at midday from his Mar-a-Lago estate to the airport nearby West Palm Beach. Trump climbed out of an SUV vehicle before he and a member of his entourage climbed a set of stairs to enter his plane. He got paid in better hair dye, true. Witch hunt as our once great country is going to hell. True, dude. True. Trump said on social media he would head to the courthouse on Tuesday morning. Our country has fallen. True. Honestly, like, this is pretty disturbing because you know the underlying message that this cult hears when they hear things like our country has fallen. Quite frankly, that's like the only thing that bothers me, or like that worries me, I should say. All like the stuff that he's been posting is like read and received by this cult. That's the only thing that that worries me. It doesn't matter. I mean, if he did it, then he should, you know, face the music. Threats and intimidation should not stop the legal process from doing its thing. I'm just saying it's a concern. Don Jr. was saying it was communist. True, dude. That's exactly what communism is. You know, when I check the definition of communism, it's when people that have done, like, you know, crimes get arrested. True. True. So there's nothing else. There's nothing else here. Other than this good meme. Our country needs him, said Cindy Falco. He's pro-God. No. Pro-family. Yeah, dude, clearly. Pro-family. The dude who has been married how many times? Has had how many affairs? The dude's entire premise of being, like, investigated was because he was trying to cover up an affair. He was trying to cover up an affair and funneling campaign money to do it. And no, he's not pro-country at all. He doesn't give a shit about this country. Trump is stepping up to the rhetoric and basically saying if he's not president in 2024, the entire country will basically wink out of existence to be eternally forgotten. Yeah, like all this kind of like rhetoric, you know, these cult members hear it, and that's like a call of action to these people. That's like the only the only thing that worries me. Is that these people like read this shit and they're like, oh yes, I know what I have to do. It's like the same thing with like, you know, his like, you know, messaging when he said like to the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. I mean, like within the next day they already had like merchandise with t-shirts. And you know who was there on January 6th? Yeah. Those clowns. So they definitely hear it. That's the only thing that like worries me. Here's some good memes. Two hours ago, asking his cult members for money. 3 hours ago, getting not praises, but getting support from the autocrat Viktor Orban. More money. Yeah, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. We got what can only be described as a 4chan post. Biden and his people. I don't know what that means. His people. Biden? What? Knew all about the radical left. Soros-backed DA. No, this guy isn't a radical leftist. And cool. Nice 4chan posting. They pushed the racist DA, which wasn't difficult, even putting a top Democrat DOJ official into Bragg's office to push this witch hunt forward. The fake news refuses to report this, but not everyone knows election interference. So this is an incoherent, an incoherent, like, I don't know, diatribe? Huh? Yeah, going after Trump. It's bad enough talking about yourself in third person, but to put your own name in quotes, yeah. Going after Trump. Like, no. What do you mean? What do you mean Trump? Of course they're going after him. Anyways. Did you see any of the Hannity interviews? No. Who did Hannity interview? Oh, he interviewed Trump like recently before the indictment? Or did he interview after the indictment? It was recent? Gotcha. I don't know. It's kind of hard to watch Sean Hannity or Trump. It's kind of hard to watch because, like, I mean, it's like a broken record. The entire interview was a conga line of memes. Nice. Not surprised. All right, folks, just switching gears. Federal judge says insurers no longer have to provide preventative care services, including cancer and heart screenings, at no cost. Yeah, federal judge in Texas, of course. Most of the interview, Hannity had this look like, how can you be this stupid? I mean, listen, it's their funeral, all right? They're so hellbent, as Rupert Murdoch said, they're so hellbent on making money. I mean, this is of your own doing. This is of your own doing. A federal judge in Texas said Thursday that some Affordable Care Act mandates cannot be enforced nationwide, including those that require insurers to cover a wide array of preventative care services at no cost to the patient. Yeah, fuck them poors. Including some cancer, heart, and STD screenings and tobacco programs. How cruel is that? How fucking cruel is that? What a thing to walk into. Yeah, sorry, ma'am, hippie. Yeah, that's how. that's the story you decided to walk into. In the new ruling, U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor struck the recommendations that have been issued by the U.S. Preventative Service Task Force, which is tasked with determining some of the preventative care treatments that Obamacare requires to be covered. The decision applies to task force recommendations issued on or after March 23 of 2010, the day the Affordable Care Act was signed into law. While the group had recommended various preventative services prior to that date, nearly all have been updated or expanded. What do you think about Israel? I have no idea. Don't know what that question means. What do I think about Israel? Do you mean like the protests? The judge also deemed unlawful the ACA requirement that the insurers and employers offer plans that cover HIV prevention measures such as PrEP for free. Other preventative care mandates under the ACA remain in effect. The full extent of the ruling's impact when its effects could be felt are unclear. Why do people just jump into stream and ask the random disconnected question? I don't know. Makes no sense. This is like jumping into a stream. It's like, well, what do you think about like? What do you think about America? Well, I don't. What are you talking about? The Justice Department filed a notice a notice of appeal on Friday. The Biden administration is also appealing. O'Connor earlier ruling that the task force recommendations violated the Constitution's appointment clause that required HIV prevention drugs to be covered at no cost, violated the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Jesus. The challengers in the case, individuals and employers in Texas, lost on several of their other claims against the preventative care mandates. It's possible when they filed their own appeal of O'Connor's ruling. Yeah, individuals and employers in Texas want to deny you the ability to get preventative care. Like, this is so dystopic that they're actually fighting in court that you shouldn't have preventative care. What are your opinions about this country? I don't know what this country is. The challengers in this case, yes, individuals and employers in Texas, blah, blah, blah. The Justice Department has not filed a request that O'Connor ruling be paused for the appeal. It is not clear if the administration plans to ask for that pause. We'll do everything we can to protect and defend Americans' right to health care that they need and deserve. Yet, well, we don't have that to begin with. we don't have that to begin with. But okay, whatever. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre called the case yet another attack on the Affordable Care Act. The decision in a case brought by its employers and individuals in Texas represents the largest legal affront to the landmark 2010 healthcare law. Oh man. It's unclear what immediate practical effect the O'Connor new ruling will have for those with job-based and Affordable Care Act policies, because insurance companies will likely continue no-cost coverage for the remainder of the contracts, even though the Obamacare requirements in questions have been blocked. Contracts often last one... Yeah, but then, like, then what? Then you yeet, like, very important, arguably the most important type of healthcare, which is preventative healthcare. O'Connor's ruling is expected to kick off a new phase of the legal battle over Obamacare's preventative care measures. The judge rejected other claims that the ACA's foes brought against the law, including challenges to the entities that determine no-cost coverage mandates for vaccines and assortment of women's health preventative care treatments and services for infants and children. Yeah, fuck them kids. Like I said, the next time you hear like Republicans talk about how they care about children, remember that the conservatives are currently fighting to try to challenge preventative care, preventative care medicine. It's possible that the plaintiffs appealed those aspects of O'Connor's handling of the case, which could put at risk coverage requirements for additional preventative services at no cost. A lawyer for the challengers did not respond to CNN's inquiry about the Thursday decision. O'Connor's a George W. Bush appointee. So again, this is a direct result of Republicans winning elections. I mean, I hate to continue to be like a broken record, but these are real impacts that happen. These are real impacts that happen because Republicans won. That's as simplistic as I can distill this this story. Republicans won, and this is the consequence. I mean, it's direct. It's a direct consequence of Republicans winning elections. I mean, there's no if, and, or buts about it. Preventative care infringes on my freedoms. True. Doesn't matter what you feel. The fact is, this is going to impact people in a very real way, and I wonder, like, how far is it going to take before people like realize just how dangerous continuing to vote for Republicans is. Yes, George Bush appointee who sits on the North District of Texas, who has issued anti-Obamacare rulings in major challenges to the law in the past. An appeal of the current case would head into the 5th District Court of Appeals, perhaps the most conservative federal court in the country. Cool. While the case does not pose an existential threat to the Affordable Care Act that previous legal challenges did, legal experts say that O'Connor ruling nonetheless puts in jeopardy the access to some Americans will have to a whole host of preventative treatments. I mean, like, what is the point of that? Other than, like, fuck you, pores. Literally, that's the point, yep. It'll likely be similar to the COVID victims who asked for a vaccine 15 minutes before they passed on, yep. How's it going, Bob Dragon? I'm poor and therefore deserve to die of things that we can't afford. True! According to Republican logic, yes. We'll lose huge chunks of preventative services because health plans can now impose costs. Which is bullshit. Like, one of the most important things is preventative care. and you're purposely shafting that. Said Andrew Twinamatsiko, Associate Director of the O'Neill Institute for National and Global Health Law at Georgetown University. People who are sensitive to costs will go without, and mostly poor people in marginalized communities, which is the fucking point. I'm alright. Parents out of town, so in charge of the puppers. Nice. Literally enrolling in my state quit program before I can't. Trying to quit smoking. Yeah, like these things are so important to have, like, as like a, community service. That should just be a thing. We shouldn't be fighting it in federal court about whether or not we should fund these type of programs, or we should even have like preventative access, preventative care access. All of this we shouldn't even be having this problem. Okay, we shouldn't even be having this problem. It should be some type of universal healthcare system that could have been rolled out at this point. Since the Affordable Care Act, by now we could have had some type of universal healthcare system. Yes, preventative care is also cheap, not only at the beginning, but in the long term. Thursday's ruling, if left standing, could have significant consequences for Americans nationwide by limiting access to key preventative services aimed at early detection of diseases including lung and colorectal cancer, depression, and hypertension. Cool. Damn. Some of the U.S. Preventative Service Task Force recommendations include lung and skin cancer screenings, the use of statins to prevent cardiovascular disease, and the offer of PrEP for those at high risk of HIV were issued after the ACA's enactment. Certain older recommendations have been updated with new provisions, such as screening adults 45 to 49 for colorectal cancer. It would effectively lock in place coverage for evidence-based prevention with no cost sharing from 13 years ago. Said Larry Levitt, Executive Vice President for Health Policy at Kaiser Family Foundation. Some of the cost sharing for these preventative services can be substantial. PrEP, for instance, can cost up to $20,000 a year, plus lab and provider charges, including... Why? Hello, rats and worms. Good evening. Welcome. How am I getting ads? Wait, yeah, you shouldn't have ads. You're a subscriber. You may need to refresh. No, they just subbed earlier today. Yeah, I'm seeing it's showing as unsubscribed. Maybe refresh. Sometimes Twitch is wonky. Sorry about that, Morton. They scammed. Seriously, they did. We love pre-roll ad, don't we, folks? Some of the costs. Okay, yeah, 20,000 on. This is wild. In an early ruling, the judge upheld certain free preventative services for children, such as autism and vision screenings and well babies visits, for women, such as mammograms and well woman visits and breastfeeding support programs. O'Connor also upheld the mandate that provides immunization at no charge for the flu, hepatitis, measles, shingles, and chickenpox. These services are recommended by the Health Resource and Service Administration and Advisory Committee of Immunization Practice. Insurers will have to continue to cover preventative and wellness service since they are one of the Affordable Care Act's required essential health benefits. But under O'Connor, they would require the patients to pick up part of the tab. And like that's not it's not fair. It's all of them? Wow. That's kind of weird. 400 Twitch devs did get laid off recently. Sheesh. Yikes. Oh, don't know if they were all devs? Gotcha. I mean, even if like a significant part were devs, that's just yikes. That would explain why some people are having issues. Most of them were? Jesus. Yikes. It is vitally important for patients to know their care and coverage will not change because of today's court decision, said David Merritt, a senior vice president of policy and advocacy for the Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross and Blue Shield companies strongly encourage their members to continue to access these services to promote their continued well-being. We'll continue to monitor further developments in the courts. Money left my account, I just looked. Yeah, but apparently it's not... It's not acting correctly. I'm refreshing on my end. Thief Carlos. True. I just took the money and ran. True. Are the subscriptions in your list? No. Wait, maybe I can check this way. I mean, like, I can see the what's it called? The activity feed. How do I see community? Activity? No, followers list. Roll? No, it should be an activity feed. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. You know, I can see when they subbed. So it's definitely there. Yeah, I guess you can try, you can try to, log out and log back in. Mayhem Hippie giving a tier 1 sub to It's the Morton. He has one now. Well, there we go. Look, now you've got a little... What the heck is going on? I think Twitch just has it out for you. There it is. Does he have two... Yeah, he's super subbed. Would you check the situation in India? Will you check the... No, I don't know what any of that is, okay? No, I don't cover international politics as much. I don't know what the situation in India is. Do you get credit for both? Probably. Super sub. There you go. So I got gifted a sub while I'm subbed. Yeah, explain to me how that's gonna plan out. Imagine not knowing anything about anywhere. True. True. That's why I'm telling you. Oh, you're telling me to? Oh man, damn! I should then stop doing whatever I'm doing. I should stop my show, and just like immediately switch to whatever you want me to be talking about. No, dude. I don't know. So then, what happens when you get gifted a sub and you're subbed yourself? What happens when you... Oh my god, I don't even know. I mean, clearly you have the credit for both. clearly, if the money left your account, um, clearly if the money left your account, then it happened. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Twitch is sheesh. I'm gonna blame Twitch on that one. Only 4 subs went out. I'll pass them an email. Yeah, for sure. More than 150 more than 150 million with people with private access with private insurance can receive preventative services with cost sharing under the Affordable Care Act, according to a 2022 report published by HHS. They did ask nicely at first. True. The thing is, like, I actually don't really cover much of what's going on, especially like in other places. Because I have absolutely no idea. Like, I don't know how, like, what the ramifications are of whatever you're talking about are. No, I don't think they were trying to be a dick. Okay, I see what you're saying. Is this removing the healthcare coverage now or dialing it back COVID help? No, this is a whole separate thing. They basically want to remove the idea of preventative care. They want to remove that and make you pay for it if you're here in the States. Or at least like remove or at least allow insurers to charge people. It's not like a mandatory, you have to cover this at no cost. Now they removed that. I can also highlight my message. Yep. Overall, about 60% of the 173 million enrolled in private health coverage used at least one of the ACA's no-cost preventative services in 2018 prior to the COVID pandemic, according to a recent Kaiser analysis. Yes, you can all do it if you have truth coins or whatever the heck I called it. These include some services that will continue to be available at no charge under the judge's ruling. Most commonly received preventative care includes vaccinations, not including the COVID-19 vaccine, well woman and well child visits, and screening for heart disease, cervical cancer, diabetes, and breast cancer. According to Kaiser, the most commonly used preventative service will be continued to cover at no cost. Studies have shown the Obamacare mandate prompted an uptake in preventative services and narrowed care disparities in communities of color. There's plenty of evidence that people responded to this incentive by starting to use preventative care more often. I mean, yeah, that's the whole point. I was being an ass, definitely highlight everything. That's funny. So remove preventative care that they end up paying more when the disease is not... yeah, exactly. Like, they want to make that scenario, essentially, because we live in a private system. So the name of the game is to make money, profit. Capitalism demands it. Whether or not it's at the price of your health, no matter. The only thing that matters is whether or not the line went up that quarter. That's it. Yes, highlight cat emotes, which I'm still working on a new one, by the way. Off care, when it gets into specialized care, it's not fully covered unless you can pay for that good insurance. Yeah, which if you don't have money to pay for the good insurance, then you're SOL. piece of favor for preventive scaring the people who should be getting preventive scaring because they have a family history. Yep. Let's talk about this. Yeah, I love Blue Moon. Blue Moon is pretty decent. The real tragedy is all the beer that was lost. Freight train derails in western Montana. Around 25 cars derailed, carrying Coors, with some carrying Coors Light, and Blue Moon. Yeah, the point is that our healthcare system is garbage. And it's more like a wealth care system. If you don't have money, too bad. That's basically the TLDR of the American healthcare system is basically summarized by, if you don't have enough money, too bad. Yeah, now this is too far for America. Spilling hazardous waste is one thing, but now MAGA Coors beer is another. True. The freight train is the latest in a string of rail incidents in the United States. Around 25 rail cars derailed at 9 a.m. The fire department said there was no current threat to public safety, no hazardous material being released. In some photos, some of the cars could be seen falling into a river with products spilling out. The fire department said the rail cars had reached the river were either empty or carrying Coors Light and Blue Moon beer products. It said the products were secured in the derailment area and were not flowing down the river. Guests staying at the waterfront cabins near where the derailment unfolded were evacuated from the residence as a precaution. I mean, like, if this is what if this is what it takes for people to care about like the bad infrastructure and like the carelessness of railroad companies who should be nationalized, then let it be on this one. Why are Republicans so against socialized healthcare? Because they're fucking evil. They want you to suffer. Montana Rail Link said the train had been traveling westbound when it derailed. It said there's no injuries, no risk to public safety or hazmat release. The cause of the derailment is currently under investigation with the MRL personnel and first responders. The rail company said it was committed to addressing any impacts to the area as a result of the accident, prioritizing the safety of our employees and the public, and understanding the reasons for this incident. Yeah. Likewise for most Democrats, true, actually. At least in terms of healthcare. The hipster beer is so tasty. The dominating issue, judicial election, will decide the fate of abortion in Wisconsin. My favorite snake is an angry Saddam's half-angry orchard and half Sam that actually sounds pretty nice. There is no good argument, Alice. There is no good argument for a privatized system over a there is no convincing argument to me of a privatized system over a more like universal healthcare. Like, yeah, you could make your criticisms that there may be some issues with some type of universal healthcare system. I'm assuming that there are, but it is vastly more beneficial to everybody, and cheaper to everybody to just do a universal program. Everyone shares that what insurance companies would assess as risk. We live in a state that only provides paper. When we go to New Hampshire, we always steal plastic bags or smaller garbage bags. Don't get me started on these pro-life people. Well, it matters here. Cheaper to everybody. Not really someone has to pay for it. Yet we all do. We all do. So, like, the reason why company healthcare insurance is cheaper, the reason why healthcare is cheaper with your company is because everybody shares the risk underneath that company. So the costs are kind of like spread out. The same thing would happen if you had a universal healthcare system. It would be cheaper. Someone has to pay for it. Yes, everybody. No shit. We all would. I don't realize that the universal healthcare system. I'm trying to rephrase the argument in a way that would make sense. Like, you can't possibly be this dense. Anywho. On the weekend in late March, Mackenzie Schroeder offered to drive her friend across the Wisconsin border to get an abortion. Abortion has been illegal in Wisconsin since June, when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, reviving the state's 1849 near total abortion ban. If you've ever been hit in that situation, you can never understand how a woman feels if they're pregnant and don't know what to do. Said Schroeder, who lives in Sun Prairie, works for a property management company. As a waitress, I don't think that any human being on the face of the earth should control what I do with my body. True. Wisconsin abortion law has divided voters in the state, who next week will pave the way for getting rid of the ban entirely in the most consequential election of 2023 for them. At stake on April 4th, tomorrow, folks, if you live in Wisconsin or know anybody in Wisconsin, remember, when conservatives win elections, bad shit happens. At stake on April 4th is control of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which will ultimately decide the fate of the 1849 ban, a challenge is already working its way through the state courts. The 7-member Supreme Court will probably hear consequential cases over the voting disputes ahead of the 2024 election in Wisconsin, a key presidential battleground. The outcome of the election could determine whether Wisconsin state legislative districts last for another decade or are replaced. Republicans drew the lines of the district so heavily distorted in their favor that it is essentially impossible for Democrats to ever take control of the legislature. That perfect storm of issues have caused a record amount of money, about $30 million, to flood the race. Daniel Kelly is a conservative, and Janet Prostasiak, I'm not even going to try, a liberal, are vying to replace a retiring conservative justice, Patience Roggensack. Conservatives have a 4-3 majority, so whoever wins this race will determine the control of the bench. During the first days of early voting, which began on March 21st, people at the polls across state cited abortion and voting rights as well as fair elections as key concerns going into the election day. Voters also described the crime as subject that has dominated political ads a top concern. Wait, what does that have to do with, like, the Supreme Court? Okay. Homicide rate in Milwaukee is Wisconsin's largest city, rose by 11% from the year before, but overall violent crime and other serious offenses have dropped by 7%. My number one is abortion, said Pauline Tunham, a retired foundry worker in Oak Creek. Concerns about democracy and voting rights also informed her on her support for prostitutes, the liberal justice. She was motivated by anything that has to do with voting and not limiting voting. People usually, noting that early voting at her place closed before 5 p.m. and people usually work until 5. Yeah. I heard it's illegal in some states to cross the border for an abortion. I think that there are some states who are trying to criminalize or who have already done so. But it's some states. Yeah, okay, so let's skip all this other shit and just create a universal healthcare system so we don't have to worry about any of this shit. Why are we privatizing this? Jesus. Abortion is a dominating issue, and redistricting and other voting matters are not far behind. Everything else is far down the list. In an interview with The Guardian, liberal justice pointed to abortion as a defining issue of the election, but refrained from calling it the most important one. She has campaigned heavily on her support for a woman's right to choose, although she has said she would decide abortion issues based on existing law. I think that people are very interested in whether or not they have a right to make their own reproductive health care choices. It'd be very interested in whether or not I can make my own decisions. Yeah, okay, dude, whatever. I'd be hard-pressed to say that's a referendum on abortion, but it's certainly an issue that concerns people. Yes, I would say that, I would say that it's a concerning issue if I cannot, if I don't have bodily autonomy. I would say it's a very concerning issue. During the race, Kelly, which is the conservative, has refrained from voicing his opinions on abortion rights, though in a since-deleted blog post, he referred to pro-choice organizations and politicians as promoting, quote-unquote, sexual liberalism. Libertinism. What the heck? Whatever. He has been endorsed by 3 anti-abortion groups. Kelly's campaign did not respond to a request for interview. Political advertising has saturated the airways. The liberal justice has raised a staggering $10 million, while both sides have been supported by a significant outside spending. The anti-abortion group Susan B. Anthony has reported spending $2 million on the race in support of Kelly, while the advocacy arm of Planned Parenthood had contributed and at least $1 million in support of the liberal justice. Healthcare should be free at the point of service. Yeah. Yes. Some Trump troll came into a chat I'm on for saying his highest value was personal sovereignty, so he would have preferred Thomas Massey or Ron Paul. Oh man, good memes. Good memes. Two lifelong anti-abortion rights people. Yep. A sexual libertine is basically someone who has sex for fun without attaching any morality to it. Yeah, I mean, whatever. If that's you, that's you. Nobody should be telling. Nobody should be, telling what you can or cannot do with your body. There is such a thing. And honestly, if you're like some religious schmuck or whatever, fuck off. it's that simple. Leave people alone. Jesus Christ. Amazes me how many men have profited from an abortion yet preach against it. If you had unprotected sex, the woman probably had an abortion. I mean, it's a thing that happens. Yes. Miss Nix, how's it going? Miss Nix up with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh my god. No, dude. The reason why they have universal healthcare systems in those places is because they have taxes. Holy shit. It's not because the US provides a massive national security subsidy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Costa Rica is a Central American country that doesn't have U.S. national security, whatever bullshit you're trying to push, and it still has a universal healthcare system. What are you talking about? These healthcare systems that Nordic countries, some European countries have are because of taxes. Because they're not spending billions on national security? No, it's because of taxes. We should model our healthcare industry after Costa Rica. It's much better than the one we have here. I'm giving you an example. That's not what I said was your point about it being solely based on the fact that like we give national security or whatever bullshit. Because like I'm pretty sure that's not the way it works. They basically have taxes. I should have got dental work while I was there. Yeah. Taxes and tax money that isn't diverted on their own. No, it's separate. I would rather my tax money go to healthcare than go to weapons of war. Yeah, but that's not their point. Their point is that their claim is that because we subsidize national security, they have healthcare. That's literally not how that works. You are aware that there are multiple tax systems? Yeah, they're not. Don't try to logic this. They haven't been. They haven't made a coherent, like, logical argument this entire time. Memo, how's it going, brother? My small cat eats too much every damn time, then vomits when. Oh my god, poor kitty. I see the point he is making, but not quite the point we are trying to make. The war machine is buku bucks. Yes, but I'm saying that it's not because of us subsidizing defense or whatever. The reason why they have healthcare. I just refuse to believe that that's how it goes. You can say that the cat is so polite, lets him eat his food. Aw. Anywho. There are other examples, like I said, Costa Rica, that has some kind of universal healthcare system that isn't in this category. He is saying that the US funds much of the military forces around the world. Other countries do not have to invest in these things. Yes, I know what he's saying. I'm just disagreeing with the idea that, like, even if that wasn't true, that they couldn't have healthcare because of that. I'm confused. I think the link between the two is a stretch. That's exactly what I'm saying. Anywho, the point is, healthcare. Healthcare should just be, healthcare should be a service that's provided, and it will be cheaper if you do it in a more universal format. I mean, this has been done. This has already been like a thing that's been gone over ad nauseum. Okay. Political ads are, in my opinion, unnecessary evil, said Steve Shower, an insurance adjuster from Oconomowoc, a heavily Republican city in Waukesha County. I think there's a lot of money spent on that that's wasted. Shower and his wife, Heather, who works as a secretary at a local Lutheran church, said they were unpersuaded by television advertisements and pointed to abortion as the issue driving their support for Kelly, the conservative. We are against abortion. I'm against the right to have bodily autonomy and the right to self-determination. I said the issue is a long-term concern and closely tied to her religious beliefs. Cool. So now, basically you want the right to impose your religious garbage on other people. Done in countries with populations, that has nothing to do. It doesn't matter. Why can't we like upscale? It's not a good argument. This is not a convincing argument. Because a population is smaller, then that means that we can't do it. Doesn't it mean that a larger country has more resources and more wealth and more money? So why? It just doesn't make any sense. None of this is a convincing argument as to why we shouldn't switch. We are against abortion because of religious beliefs, religious garbage. They're human beings at conception. Nope. That's what we believe in 100%. That's cool. Except you shouldn't impose that on everybody else. Omar Dward, a 26-year-old canvasser with the Service Employees International Union, said voting rights were particularly important to him. Ward, who is from Milwaukee, had his voting rights restored after 4 years when the state expunged a felony from his record in 2022. His first time casting a ballot since then. He was in the Supreme Court primary in February. While canvassing in Milwaukee and Racine, Ward said he heard more about abortion rights and crime than any other issue. Nobody feels like they should go all the way to Chicago to make a decision on their body and well-being. True! And on both sides, whether a Democrat or Republican, everyone wants the crime to come down. During the candidates-only debate, which was televised on March 22nd, Kelly and the liberal justice clashed repeatedly over abortion and safety, with Kelly casting his opponent soft on crime. The liberal justice told The Guardian that she wanted to push back on the characterization given that's what I've spent my entire career doing, holding people accountable. Anywho, tomorrow in Wisconsin, there's this very important election. Again, elections have consequences when conservatives win. Elections, when conservatives win, elections have consequences. Scientific truth at conception, a distinct as being inherent, there's no reason to deny this to argue the pro-choice position. No, it's just like scientifically just not true. Like, life doesn't begin at conception. Like a person isn't it isn't a person at conception. That's just the way it is. Communism doesn't work at all. What are you talking about? Who's talking about communism? Are you okay? Oh, I see what you're saying. Bup Dragon, the whole communism only works in small countries. Yeah, like as if we can't like expand that idea with more people and more resources. Are you trying to say listening to what someone said in a fake Magic Sky Daddy told them is the same as reading actual... Yeah, like this is delusional. The idea that you think that life begins at conception is absolutely delusional. Capitalism isn't working. True. My body, my choice. True. Human and person, same thing. It isn't a human. Okay? A human isn't a human because two cells met together. Science seems that a fetus is a parasite until about 17 weeks. How dare you demean my gametes? True. No biology and intelligence. The human is for... No, this is not true. I mean, you can try to... What you just said, human and person. Whatever, dude. You know what? You're actually delusional and actually acting in very bad faith. I literally said human or person. It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable in the point that I'm making. No, I'm not denying science. You are. A zygote meeting isn't a human. It's a zygote. It's literally cells. It's not a human. Like, we don't call zygotes humans. We call them zygotes. I don't understand. This is like basic stuff. Yes, human development, meaning it's not a human. Holy shit. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. It's human development, not a human. You just said it was a human. All that happened, all that you're describing is a simple zygote. That is it. That is not a human. Okay? That is not a human. Yeah, like, you're obviously not listening. Or maybe you just don't want to. Zygote must be an alien life. No, it's just not a human. It is a parasite by scientific yeah, it's not a human. It's very simple. It is a zygote. Apparently they need a dictionary for Yule. True. You need to learn critical reading skills. I mean, that's not gonna happen. Thoughts and prayers, buddy. By that definition, we should just keep all the folks who are forever in comas hooked up because we're killing people. Yep. Gun control and COVID and false elections that never goes anywhere towards any resolution. Yeah, but the problem is like there is a resolution. The resolution is simple. Like in this debate, it's everyone should have the right to bodily autonomy. That's it. Oh yeah, the first stage. Correct. The first stage, meaning not a human. The first stage, meaning not a human. No matter what you call it, it's still not your choice to make for me. True. I mean, like, if only like you could just learn how to read. That would be like a nice, like, instead of like thinking that you got some kind of gotcha dunk, maybe just learn how to read. The first stage, yes, meaning it is not. Meaning it isn't a human. I want to have bear cubs if I could have a legit, a loyal bear army. True. Yes, the first stage of becoming a human. It doesn't mean it is a human. That these are not the same things. Are you just dense? Are you just dense? I don't know. I'm having a hard time, like, right, so there's no human DNA in there, nothing human about it. No, there's nothing human about it in the sense that, like, all you're talking about is literally fertilization. That's it. Skin cells have DNA. Does that make them, like, I don't know, dude. Whatever. You can try to, like, misconstrue the same things that you've posted. Every cell has DNA. Exactly. The key word is becoming. The key word is becoming. That's it. Every human cell has human DNA. Congratulations. Thanks. Breaking news. Water is wet. Breaking news. Breaking news. Brain dead chatter discovers that water is wet. No, being in the first stage of humans doesn't make you a human. And breaking news, rain falls from the sky, regardless. It makes you a zygote. That's what it makes you. You don't have the right to dictate to me if I want to have an abortion. True. I'm a mutant that produces bear cubs. True. Anyways. Look, if you have to dehumanize the unborn life to argue the pro-choice position, yes, I'm dehumanizing a clump of cells. True. True. I'm dehumanizing a clump of cells. Regardless of what your view of human or not, you have no right to tell me what to do with my body. True. Exactly why I want to be why I want to be pagan. Paganism very much supports everyone's right to choose and is very pro-choice. Yeah, I mean, like it's very simple. It's very simple. You do not get to choose what you don't get to tell what other people can or cannot do with their body. The abortion thing is all essentially about bodily autonomy. It's all about that. It's effectively an argument for or against bodily autonomy. That's it. Um, that's it. But bodily autonomy has limits. Yes, in the sense that you cannot do anything that would harm other people, even if it's to yourself. If you do something to yourself that would harm others, then that's a different story. You're misconstruing everything you've put out there so far, and you've been clearly trying to manipulate the convert. Yeah, I know. This is like the same this has been the same story every time this chatter comes in here. Vihard is the only take anyone needs. I don't get his point if they're pro-choice. Then what the hell is he fighting about? I don't know. Listen, bro, it's very simple. People should have the right to choose what they can and cannot do with their bodies. It's that simple. It's very simple. VHeart is the link I have put on. You can send it to me via Whispers. Here's a question. Here's a question. Do you believe in because I guess at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. Do you believe in a person's right to choose what they can and cannot do with their body? Clearly. Great. So then why are we having this fucking conversation? Oh, God. Pop down notifications. Keep trying to swipe them away. No, I don't really give a shit about anything else. Because the whole entire article that we read was about abortion. But yeah, to be clear, you're also wrong about the science, just to be clear. That's a streamer who leads the conversation was about abortion, correct? I'm done. We tried, chat. Yes, it was about abortion, and then they tried to shift the focus about some bullshit about trying to tell me that a zygote is a human. No, it's the first stage to be a human. It's a potential human. It's not a human. A potential pie isn't a pie, right? Like an egg isn't a fucking omelet, is it not? Or an egg isn't a chicken. We don't call eggs chickens. This doesn't make any sense. The term scientific truth is unscientific. True. My brain hurts. I think we're all a little hurting after that one. What came first, the chicken or the egg? What is scientific? My cat scooches on the regular. True. These are provable facts. Yeah, like so. It's very simple. You don't call a fucking egg a chicken. You call it an egg. Because that's what it is. Holy shit. You don't go calling like zygotes humans, right? Does your cat scooch? I don't know what that is. Actually. Click my name and read my last comments. Okay. Messages. Over 1,000 messages. All right, cool. Cool. Messages. Hello? A cute animal video? Nah, I gotta head out. I'm trying to find where's mod view. Hold on. It's snowing again. Nah, we're done with that. We're done with winter. My points? Did you redeem something? It's 80 right now in Phoenix. Sheesh. I'm okay with this because it's giving more of a snowpack. To drag one's butt on the carpet to scratch or otherwise. No, my cat does not do that. My cat does not do that. Neither of them do. How come I don't see your thing? I don't see the redemption. Well, it's okay. How the F was I not on the Discord? Really? No, I could have sworn. Well, maybe I don't know. Oh, it was during the abortion combo, but it's not here. All right. Well, we're going to figure something out. Hold on. Twitch is all messed up, stealing points and subs. True. Well, here's what I can do. Here's what I can do. I can bring in one of the cats instead. I can bring in one of the cats instead. And if it shows up, it shows up. You know, the points, whatever. If it shows up, it shows up. If not, then you get to keep like an extra points, I guess. I'm seeing like biddies, but I can't see Alice McGee with the 100 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. For keeping your cool with grace and class. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's how we do it. It's sorry that I can't see all the updates. And sorry that some of you are just having issues with the, Twitch thing, but Automod just blocked my biddies. What? No, I'm seeing it. There we go. Okay, cool. I don't know. Sorry you guys are having some issues with the Twitch platform. It's not, yeah, Twitch. Yeah, listen, direct your ire to Twitch, okay? It's twitching out, exactly. All right, let me bring in one of the cats, all right? Let's see who's available. Who's the first cat to come down? Hold on, folks. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll put it on the big screen. Automod said your message is being checked by mods. What? I don't think any mods are here except for me. Hold on. Because I didn't even see it on my screen. Alright, folks. Say hello to Buddy. This is Buddy. Am I the only one getting this Automod? I don't know. Like, I think that, you know, Twitch is just being weird because earlier somebody subscribed. It's Morton subscribed and their sub didn't even show up. And then somebody gifted them a sub. So now somehow we've got a situation where somebody subscribed and we're also gifted a sub at the same time. So I don't know. Twitch is being weird today. Yeah, Automod can be really weird, and sometimes it doesn't even show up on my mod view. So I'm not sure. Yeah, a double sub. Don't ask me how. He is gorgeous. Yes. A super sub, one could say. I checked with Twitter, no messages from Twitch, email support. Yeah, like something's going, you know, weird there. Oh, all right, buddy. True, that's the real ACAB, okay? All cats are beautiful. That's the real ACAB, true. He looks like my tabbies. How old is he? I don't know, but we think he's pretty young. We think he might be like a year and a half at this point. Maybe slightly under 2 years. My shitten looks like an ass. My old cat Fupa. Buddy loves to hang out and cuddle. So Twitch will give you the gifted sub over the purchase if done at the same time. Morton should be refunded within a couple days. If not, they can request one. Gotcha. Okay, so that... Huh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'll message them if they're not reading or watching. I didn't know that. Does he like catnip? Yeah, he flips out. It's happened before to a couple people. Yeah, but like he's a special case because like he was saying that he didn't have access to like some of his subs in other channels too. So it was weird. It was a weird situation. He said he was having issues in 4 other channels too. Yeah, he does flip out with catnip. But yeah, I'll definitely if there is actually a brand called Cat Crack, Mayhem Hippie. It's really good catnip. Yes, there is, and it's actually good catnip. Both of our cats like it. We grow our own. Same. They're actually really easy to grow, and our catnip that's in the little herb basket is growing back. It came back. My one cat has no response. Sometimes it can happen. Yeah, the container. There we go. That's what I have. I have like a little, you know, herb thing that I put on top. Yeah, if it flowers, at that point, just let it go to seed. It'll come back. It'll come back next season. Mountain Rose Herb sells 100 seed sets for $3.95. They sell catnip. Nice. It's not that hard to grow. We dry it and keep some through winter. Yep, that's exactly how we did it. And we still have some. And the catnip is coming back in our little container. So if you do happen to let them flower and let them go to seed, they will come back. All the neighborhood cats will come by and partake. The butterflies like it too. Most seeds now are easy sow seeds. The GMO seeds, yeah, I guess it like depends. Yeah. Echo Resto Dragon. Yours like the fresh? Yeah, it's in the mint family. Is it? I think so. I think so. But we have the catnip container up like in the deck area. So yeah, there is one neighbor cat that chills here, but that's about it. It's in the mint family. Gotcha. Yeah, we grew some mint too. Spearmint and peppermint is what we grew. But yeah. Anyways, there's your cat. Mint does grow like weeds. Yep. It does. Yes, it will. But it's good. It's good. You can make tea. My cat is feisty on the nip. Sometimes they'll get like a little bit aggressive. Like one of my cats likes to sit on the catnip. Like she's a dragon on top of its gold. So she'll sit on her catnip and you cannot touch that. That is a mistake. I had a wild chocolate mint bush. Bugs ate it though. Oof. Yes. Everyone have a good night. The hubby is shuffling me to the wood stove. I see. No problem. We're about to head out too. He goes on hikes in his little cat backpack. That's adorable. I need one of those eventually. Alright, folks. I do have to get going. I am hungry. And it is almost 8 o'clock. I appreciate all of you guys coming through. Thank you so much for the biddies, subscriptions, the gifted subs. Morton, if you are still there, you could get a refund from Twitch. If you get a gifted sub and you subbed, you can get a refund. So definitely look into that. SV Harkin, don't worry, I'm gonna give you guys another cat emote to add to that collection. Appreciate it. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you for the biddies, Alio. Thank you for the biddies, Alice, and thank you for the subs, Mayhem Hippie, and Morton. Appreciate it. Thank you. The last one is a gremlin, true. Alright, folks, I gotta get out of here. As always, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. Join us Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Next weekend, on Sunday, we might have another Sunday stream. Thank you for hanging out, Bub Dragon. Appreciate it. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you, Echo Resto Dragon. So Sunday, this Sunday might be another weekend stream. Are we raiding? Yes, we are. We're going to carpet packs. All right, folks, we're heading out now. Thank you guys so much for the support. You guys are what makes this channel grow. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! I was going to suggest Carpe. Yeah, I mean, we have a chance right now. I usually don't see them live, but here they are. All right, folks, we're heading out in. Thanks, Mono, for hanging out. Appreciate it. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.